everyone, and welcome to the FastFWD event brought to you by K2. My name is Luiz de Almeida. Most people can't pronounce that, so feel free, if you make contact with me, just to call me Lou. I'll be taking you through the next session for the next couple of minutes, and hopefully it'll be fun and exciting. You'll learn something new. And if nothing else, I would have shared my story with a new audience. So let's kick off. So today I'll tell you a little bit of a story from an organization called Shine Lawyers. It's where I work. Shine Lawyers is an Australian law firm that specializes in obviously compensation, disability insurance, superannuation, and we are known globally for class actions. We do some really, really big class actions and have for many, many years. So Shine Lawyers hails from Queensland, Australia. Started in a little town called Toowoomba, and we work nationally in Australia, and we have branched off internationally into New Zealand. So the story I'll tell you a little bit about today and the outcome is centered on our values and some of our working principles. So as we go through, you'll learn that Shine attacks the market very much with always looking after the little guy. We don't care how big or small the case is. We really focus on this small person. We try and pride ourselves on being different, so our value is dare to be different, and we want to be ahead of the pack. But what makes us a little bit different in the Australian market is we're one of two ASX listed or stock market listed firms, and we are on a no-win, no-fee basis. So it's with that lens that we're going to take you through today. I will bring forward some of the guiding principles of what our team does and when we look at a problem, but we'll get to that. So a little bit about me. Why do I have the right to talk to you today? It's a great honor to be asked by K2 to present our small little business case, and hopefully you can take some value on it. As I said, I'm the CIO, Chief Information Officer. I also have remit for the innovation team. So sometimes I joke and say that I am the CIO squared. So this Chief Information and Innovation Officer. Shine obviously rights the wrongs. And what we are tasked with is to do something a little bit different and stay ahead of the pack. Now, at Shine, our team likes to lead with a problem. So whenever someone contacts us, the innovation space or technology space, we always say, well, let's stop and think about what is the problem we're trying to fix. So as a firm, we want to be leading ahead of the pack. We want to change things. But right now we had a problem faced us and said, okay, we are a no-win, no-fee business, and we have a problem in signing people on. Why is it a problem for us? Well, because traditionally we have a call center that sits in Queensland and it runs normal business hours. So when someone's sitting on their couch and they have an idea that they need to contact a law firm, or they see one of our ads and it might be 10 o'clock at night, they can reach out to us on the website or through traditional ways of sending an email or lodging a web form, but they don't get immediate action from us. So how do we deal with this in a more customer-centric approach? So in our call center, we obviously have a lot of people, bums on seats. They're sitting there waiting for your call. And what happens is when you call, you could be calling, disrespect about your neighbor's dog keeps coming to poop on your lawn. We would have to receive your call, go through a whole bunch of Q&A, only to decide that this is not something that we can help you with. And we've burnt some human hours, and that's a cost to the business. And a no-win, no-fee basis, you can imagine we can burn through a lot of time quite quickly. So we need to quite quickly figure out if there is a win-win situation for you. Can we help you if you have a real problem? And is there a win in it for us at the end of the day? So that is really the crux of the problem that we need to fix at the moment. So when we're dealing with that, we go through a Q&A process, right? We then need to record everything. We need to then capture all the details. We open a matter or a case. At that point is when someone calls. And if we then go through a process of declining the person because we cannot help them, we don't practice that type of law, or they don't have a legal issue that can be addressed, we have to close it off, and that's a cost of their time and a cost to our time, and there's a process there as well. So we need to think about how we can better deal with that. We have some competitors in the market that are actually on the leading edge as well. They're also trying to compete and crack new ground. And they are also surfacing automation to their potential customers to make things easier. So how do we deal with that? All right. So we initially tried to do, we had a few false starts in this area, and we wrote lots of custom code. We needed to pass information from this system to that system, from this workflow to that workflow. We have phone systems involved, we have web chats, we have all sorts of activity involved. And these point solutions don't really deliver a good solution. So we sat back as a team, we said, okay, let's look at our guiding principles, right? We want to start with a clear problem statement that we have. We've got a good problem statement. Okay, great. So what does success for the customer look like? And what does success for Shine look like? Great, let's map that out. Now, do we have the existing technology? Because we don't want to build technical debt. What I refer to in technical debt is building a point solution, and a point solution is great at a point in time, and it does one thing really, really well. And typically you have middleware or some sort of interaction to move the data from A to B. And then finally, for us, security is not a hobby. We do not want to compromise on security. So for us, maintenance and technical debt is really, really important. I want to make sure that we put a solution in place that can stand the test of time and multiple change iterations. Enter K2. So K2 is a product we already had. We had made an investment in K2, and it basically stacks up as a fantastic all-encompassing solution. They're enterprise grade. They've gone through all the pen testing and security testing that you could expect from an organization of that size, and the length and breadth of it is. We already have internal skill sets. So it makes sense to then look first at what we have, what we own, and how we can leverage that, right? Easy integrations. Not only can we build off this, but there are elements within a solution that we build we can reuse in the future, all right? So as I said there, we already had an investment in K2, so it's quite simple. The security was fantastic. As a law firm across a multiple range, you can imagine it's really paramount for us to be secure. And that is really the cornerstone of why I brought K2 into the ideas pit of this. Now, admittedly, I was new to Shine at a point in time. I've only been with Shine now for the best part of probably 15 months. And going back a year now, this project had already commenced. And when I came into it, I made myself unpopular by just halting things a little bit and saying, okay, well, we are used to doing things the traditional way, right? We've got code, put it in, problem solved, move on to the next issue. All of a sudden, things don't integrate, technical debt harvests. This time, we want to do it a little bit differently. So how did we approach it? So about this time a year ago, I was fortunate enough to go to an event where rapidMATION were presenting. I bumped into a few of the big wigs from K2 who were manning the stand, as humble as they are, Luiz and Rudy. And then I attended a rapidMATION project, and I came out thinking, wait a minute, we own this technology and we could really use what they are doing in a different way to deliver this outcome, right? So I then chatted to the K2 team. We unpacked that further, and then I was educated and very, very encouraged that we could do so much out the box without having to do custom code. So again, coming back to our guiding principles, we want low code, not custom code. And that made a huge difference in our designing the solution. So what the solution ultimately looked like for us. Okay. First of all, I went back to the office, invigorated as you do from any new conference. And it's always a valuable conference if you come away with good ideas and solutions to real problems, right? I then went to meet with the marketing team. And as you can imagine, the marketing team were already down a path. They had their own developers doing what they needed to do. And they were pretty close to actually getting a prototype into position. When I sat through the presentation, I saw reams of codes, multiple touch points, and huge amounts of complexity. And through the veil of all that complexity presented us a huge overhead in our security footprint, and then maintenance points through that we would have to look after. in that custom area. So called up Sean from rapidMATION. We had a fantastically easy conversation, really got it, really got the solution that we needed to put together. And surprisingly enough, it was, I think it was 12-day engagement. We could quickly put a proof of value pack together. I then politely pushed back on the business and said, okay, let's just hold what you're doing with your point solution and give us the opportunity to just, in a very short space of time, prove to you we can do exactly what it is you're wanting to achieve with low technical code, custom code, high degree of interoperability, and tremendous amount of security without compromise. And the team from rapidMATION put that together in a very short space of time. And I must admit, I had my doubts. Typically, when you go into an IT project, it always costs more and it always takes longer. Surprisingly enough, in this case, it didn't. And it's proven time and time again, it's not an anomaly, because I'll talk about other projects that we've taken on in this vein. But we really were able to show greater visibility to the customer in the onboarding process with hugely lower complexity and huge ease of use. All right. So what happened? Kicked the project off, and we decided to go really small footprint. Okay. Technology has a way of biting you when you least expect it. So we decided to do a customer onboarding process, which was, all right, I'm a customer, I'm going to hit the Shine website, and on the Shine website, the technology is going to ask me a few questions. It's going to say, it's going to do what the human would do at the call center and quickly evaluate whether or not I'm just phoning because my neighbor's dog is pooing on my lawn, or if I actually have a legal, valid issue and Shine can help me. Based on the Q&A that the system has now taken me through, it then qualifies me as a valid Shine opportunity. Okay, and I don't want to sound cruel and say this is a sales pipe, but essentially it is a qualification process. Once you're qualified as a potential customer and there is a true win-win solution, the system then presents me with a lawyer, a picture of a lawyer, and says, this would be your lawyer in your jurisdiction, in your postcode that is available. And you can select your lawyer, 1 or 2 or 3 of the lawyers available, and it then goes directly into their calendar. This is incredible. This makes a huge change, because now I'm not investing time filtering out bad callers. I'm giving the person the access to, when it's convenient for them, to go through the triage process and book an appointment for themselves in a time that suits them, with a lawyer that is personable. And all the information that was captured on the system at the point of questioning is passed to our matter management system, which is the legal practice management system. So the lawyer then gets a PDF of all the Q&A activity that was done so if that person comes to the meeting for the first time, they don't have to repeat themselves. So it's a win-win situation. All right. So the first time Shine's actually investing human time and effort into a case is when they're sitting in front of them for the first appointment. That is a significant save for us. We started a very simple, so I guess I'm going to come back to one step a little bit. All right, so step 1, we started simply and we selected to seed out a very small thing. So for us, it was Queensland only, motor vehicle only, and a very small postcode. So we didn't go to all of Queensland. We didn't go because Queensland, for some of you outside of Australia who may not think Queensland is large, some people's backyards in Queensland are bigger than some small countries in Europe. So Queensland is a very large place, right? So we started off very simple. We made it very selectively available to some people so that we could prove the technology. So we did not want to go big bang. We wanted to evolve and prove it out and then grow it, right? So the next thing we did was we took simple outcomes and we delivered it in a very short time frame. And that won over the business to say, wow, IT the group has got a real solution delivered in a real time frame, and it actually works. The third thing was we reduced the load on the call center. So the value was, hey, we've taken the pain and mundane from the call center and we've shifted it to a technology platform to alleviate the load on them, and allows them to then do more customer-centric value-added activities, as opposed to just Q&A, which is which is repetitive. All right. We were able then also to get into access areas of the market that we weren't able to do before. And it could be argued that, wait a minute, these people are going to phone you anyway, 9 to 5. Yeah, I agree. They could probably call you 9 to 5. But the value is not, the value is actually, wait a minute, when they have that thought, because the marketing team has put that advert in that time slot, they pick up the phone at that moment in time, or they hit the website in that time, something happens. It's called they're hot. They're hot to trot straight away. If you're not going to be reachable, they may lose interest, or one of your competitors is going to be available at that point in time. So that makes a huge difference to capturing that momentum. In the first couple of weeks, we delivered it. In the first couple of days, I said to send an email, and I got this email directly from Kath Evans, who's our Chief Operating Officer at the time, and it's unaltered. So this is warts and all. Thank you all. Hugely excited about a booking tool. Wonderful development. It went live, and I think they were just shocked and stunned. They did not realize how quickly, how easy it would be done. The vendor interaction was exceptional, and the support was second to none. And this is something that probably Shine has been trying to do for the best part of 3 years. And if the Shine people on the call, I do apologize in advance. Yes, we have tried multiple iterations, but kudos to the rapidMATION team. They were able to use K2 to bring it to the fore quite quickly, all things said and done. Not so long after that, I sent Sean this message, and it's, again, you know, not doctored. This is a straight message. I said to him one day, sitting in a call with the marketing team, and just in the first couple of weeks, first 8 weeks, you know, it's $290,000 worth of work booked in a very soft launch. We did not advertise this. We did not do much. Or you had to actually do a specific Google search in a specific way to get actually access to this. I talk about a bell. We joke about a bell where when we started booking, we actually rung the bell a few times. We had to stop ringing that bell because it became really annoying. So it goes without saying that the balance, and also this solution has set us up well for what is now the Corona pandemic, right? It's working well for us there as well, because it's a digital path, and we will be growing this now nationally. So really, really good news story for us. I think it's really important for us to understand that there's a partnership of technologies that have to work together for solutions like this to actually come to the fore and really make a huge difference to the business. So now I'm going to call out UiPath, and the first thing people think about is the word bot, right? So I made that mistake in a few executive meetings, and I can tell you now, please learn from our mistakes. Don't use the word bot, because, you know, they don't actually hear anything you want to say. The moment you start talking about bots, they go blah, 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 bots, blah, blah, blah. The less you do, the more we do, technical, you're going to lose your job, blah, 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 bots. So don't talk bots, talk digital assistants, talk digital transition, talk about helping them in a different way. So going back in time, Shine actually had a wonderful campaign, and we used to use a bulldog in our campaigns, and bulldog's name is Rupert. So one of our staff, Kelly, came up with a wonderful idea. Admittedly, Rupert's a much better name for our robot than some of the others. We did go through Bender Rodriguez. We went through Optimus Prime and Johnny 5 and everything in between as technical geeks. But the accountant in our group said, look, that's not so PC, guys. But let's talk about Rupert. So Kelly came up with Rupert, and we then developed this concept of Rupert Fetch. So Rupert being our bot, People know Rupert, they love Rupert, and they also adapt to the idea of a dog being an assistant and trainable. And that really works well when you talk about K2 and UiPath. So the blend of K2 and UiPath brings Rupert to life, all right? And we now use Rupert as, Rupert's going to do this for you. Rupert is going to go and fetch this for you. And going forward, we now use Rupert in a number of ways. And the business is now using Rupert as a talking point. They don't talk K2, they don't talk UiPath, they don't talk bot. They talk about outcomes, because ultimately a lot of the people on this call might be a mix of business and technology people, but all of us are employed to deliver outcomes. The boxes and the wires, the application stack is not really important. It's the outcomes that are important. So we are working on a number of ideas now that will come to fruition just this year. So first of all, we did the digital onboarding of our customers, and we will expand on that in 2020, 2021. We're about to launch a leave request tool, which for a lawyer doesn't sound like a lot, but if your lawyers are booking 6-minute increments of the day and they want to take leave, for us it's important to know who's available to be billable on any given day. And we have multiple systems in our ecosystem that need to be up to date to make sure our financial forecasting are up to date. So Rupert, you say, Rupert, how much leave do I have? You have 14 days. Would you like to take leave? Yes, I'd like to take 3 days leave. Which days? These days, these days. Would you like to submit it? Those voice commands turn to text, fill forms. K2 then transports that, because it's smart enough to know I'm doing a leave request. It's going to your boss. Your boss approves it. Rupert then picks that approval up and goes updates the payroll system. Also goes update the timekeeping system to make sure our financial forecastings are in line with who's not going to be available. It can then also go into Outlook and update your leave requests. I don't know about you guys, but it's a bugbear for me to actually go in and figure out when someone's out of office it is not the same as everybody else's. And even when they haven't even booked themselves out of office. How many times people call the help desk to do that because they've forgotten? At least now Rupert could have done that job for them. So Rupert is making their life easier, allowing them to be more focused on their customers and not the pain and mundane. We are using Rupert extensively to fetch different areas and criteria for us. So if we look at class actions, we have one class action that is accumulated a tremendous amount of data, 800 gig worth of data to be specific. That's essentially 15, maybe 17 Wikipedia's worth of information. You can imagine that's a tremendous amount. So we have multiple data points that need to be matched up. And we don't just charge someone a fee and they gladly sign it off and say, sweet, we've got the outcome. We need to prove our fees are what they are. So that requires a time record and evidence to associate with that time record. It might be a document that was created, a medical file that was have to be reviewed, something in between. So what Rupert does is he waits, and whenever information comes in, Rupert makes sure he knows where that is. And when our cost assessment team needs to do something, they have a Rupert fetch process where Rupert, go and get me this information and put it where I need it to be because I'm ready to digest it. And Rupert goes off and does all that matching on their behalf. So that's a huge time saver. It's a huge risk reduction for us as well. As we've learned through this K2 process and marrying it up with UiPath, we've also learned there's loads of other opportunities for us. So on our innovation platform this year, we may just be putting Rupert in areas where they least expect it. And I can expect to be putting a Rupert shortcut on someone's desktop, not just at a server side, because Rupert can help a paralegal do menial tasks quickly. If you want to create a office registration, a medical appointment, a court document, these are predictable, repeatable processes that Rupert can do for you quite quickly. And because Rupert is there and helping you evolve into this new world, it's not threatening. If you just start digitizing technology, talk about bots and say, hey, this is now the new way of doing things, that big bang approach to introducing your digital robotic process automation is probably going to shock your system, and it's probably going to help you on a fast path to failure on change management. Introduce your robotic process automation gradually into your business so that your business evolves with you as opposed to pushes back against you. That way they see the value and how is this helping me do my job? My job is to service customers, to deliver outcomes. And is this digital assistant helping me achieve those goals? If the answer is yes, you're onto a winner. So that closes me out for today. I hope I gave you some nuggets of information through that presentation. I hope that some of it resonates with you. As always, with any presenter, I'm more than happy to have a verbal conversation with you, as long as it's on a secure channel. Only kidding. I'm more than happy to take emails. Look me up on LinkedIn. Thank you very much for your time today. I really, really appreciate it, and I hope I hear from some of you in the future. Thank you.